Hello, good morning, dzień dobry, buenos dias, buongiorno. Hello, everyone. Today we are having a returning guest, Stefano Milanesi. Stefano, now, finally, we are collaborating as PSTs.
Yes.
This is amazing opportunity. We can talk about things related to Scrum.org together, now super officially. And today we are having a topic of immersion training. So a new concept, pretty new, introduced at Scrum.org. And I believe both Stefano and me, we are in love with the idea. So Stefano, would you like to introduce the basic of immersion training at Scrum.org?
Yes, of course. And well, I'm showing everybody this slide, which is the official material that comes from the Scrum.org website. You can scan the QR code that you see on the top right corner of the slide to go more in depth on what immersion training is. Well, it's all about having an agile approach to training. So what does this mean? This means learning the theory and in an iterative way, applying the theory to your real environment, and then getting the feedback so that you can put your hands materially on what you learned and see how it works in the real world. So this is something that is not easy to do in a normal classroom environment of 2 days or 3 days consecutive training, which is the classic format for the courses. This is something that you can do spreading that time on different weeks. So that means having 4 hours a day spread on different weeks. And this to give time to people to put in practice what they learned and to come back to the classroom with the actual outcomes of what they applied. This is something that I think is great. It's something that I would like to have had when I started with Scrum. That is not just theory, but try to see how Scrum works in the real world. So this is what the format is. If you want to add something, Joanna, about the immersion training format.
Yes, sure. So please remember that this whole process, this immersion class, is still facilitated by the PST. So what you experience in a traditional 2, 3, 4-day class, consecutive days, here, this moment of reflection, trying to apply learnings, taking the assignment from the class and trying to apply it in your professional environment, feedback from this loop is taken into the next session. And thanks to that, you also receive the feedback, inspirations from your colleagues, from the class, but also from the trainer. So we may say that immersion class, immersion training combines traditional learning with practicing during the class with coaching, mentoring, and learning journey for our students.
So in a nutshell, it's like saying it's training on steroids. I mean, it's actual training, not just listening or practicing in the class, but putting in practice and on your field. And so I think this is something that is really valuable and that can be applied to all the trainings offered by Scrum.org. Joanna, do you have some experience that you can share? Like we already talked about the pros of having this kind of approach to the training. Is there something that you experimented directly and that you want to share about immersion training courses?
Yes, I'm happy to share. So I have to say that this training is just not only the training with training on steroids. I feel like this is a journey where we build together a relationship, all the participants, and we make sure that real changes are happening in someone's professional environment. For me, for instance, starting an immersion class when you are at the very beginning of your Scrum journey might be super helpful for you, because it's not just helping you understand theory, it's not only inspiring you by examples, but what happens to me is that someone is improving their knowledge, rediscovering certain concepts, and after the class, they are going back to their professional environment and trying to think, what can I change? Where should I change? So recently with one of my students, we were discovering Scrum fundamentals and Scrum elements. So we are doing a PSM class in the immersion mode. And next assignment, the topic that now he's focused on is to what kind of events and meetings do we have in our calendars? Maybe it's high time to remove some of them, replace some of them by Scrum events, making our calendars as lean as possible, right? So that is, I believe, something really rewarding for the trainer too, because you are not just leaving people with inspiration. You give them actual action items, they act on them, and you receive the feedback in the next session. What was easy? What was difficult? What kind of risks, problems, ambiguities appear in this process? And you also help people decide, okay, what we are going to do next with all those learnings found during the journey.
Yeah, listening to your words, what comes to my mind is that focus is an actual element that drives this training. I mean, you can take advantage of focusing on some specific parts of the Scrum framework, and not just about the theory, but about making experience on that. Sometimes it looks like the 2 or 3 consecutive days are overwhelming for people, because there are so many information that they try to process, and they think about how to put in practice. One of the questions that I usually have at the end of the 2-3 days training is from many people is okay, now the difficult part is to put in practice what we've seen, and try to put everything is difficult. Sometimes it's not the right way to do that. So I think that focusing just on specific parts of like events or like agility in general are a great important part of splitting and spreading the training across different weeks in this format.
Yeah, very, very valid point. So this is also similar to my experience. Some of the students are looking for traditional class. They want to understand all the details as quickly as possible and then decide. However, some of them are like, oh my God, where should I start with? And I would even say, don't try to change everything at once. Typically, it's a path to a failure and frustration. Choose something, value of focus, commit to it, and try to maximize the learning out of that. So with immersion classes, in my experience, they last like 2, 3, 4 hours, no more, including reflection, including talking about future assignments. So it's narrowed down to one topic, and it's much, much easier for people to apply. When, for instance, during PAL-E class, we talk about maturity, it's much, much easier to then go back to your professional environment, and simply explore only that that particular topic, maturing agility in our teams.
Mm-hmm. Yes, always like before, reconnecting to your words, what emerged is that yes, applying and starting to use Scrum, if this is the first time that you are using Scrum in your company, implies having patience and starting from one point and applying agility, applying Scrum in an iterative way. So not trying to do big bang changes that very often are not so positive, don't have a positive impact on the organization, on teams, but start a little. There are no liberating structure like the 15% that helps you focus on just something that you can do immediately and focus on that. And after that, you will find ways of improving iteration by iteration the application of the framework, and making experience on that, which is all about we do when we are working in an empirical way, which is the basement, the bedrock of Scrum.
Yeah.
Can we talk about outcomes? I think that outcomes are again something that which is so let's say important for this kind of approach that we have. So I'm just sharing again this one. Okay. Okay. So yes, how we have a learning objective for the course that we address every lesson, in every class, and then a module specific learning objective, and how it is related to the outcome based assignment, and I think that a big strength of this is the feedback and the fact that you are not just sharing with the trainer, but you are sharing your experience with the whole classroom. And so having different point of views, different challenges that everyone has experienced in his own environment. I think that everything related to the outcomes that people are bringing back from their experience is a tough and tough part of this training style, and gives an actual value to the participants. What's your experience on that, Joanna?
That is a very important point. So when it comes to outcomes, well, if we are familiar with evidence-based management, yes, we love outcomes, but with outcomes comes both amazing things and difficult things. So every session and every assignment in every session is associated with module learning objective. This is the part of general course learning objectives. So I would love to emphasize, we have exactly the same course objectives when compared to traditional class. But what is changing is actually encouraging participants to do the assignment and to try to make a change. As you said, 15% solutions. So what is achievable without what I can do without asking for a permission? So outcomes based assignment means we encourage you to do something, to act, to reflect, to try to make even a small change in your environment. Why it is important? It not only brings additional learning feedback loop, it not only brings the opportunity to broaden our perspectives. Because guess what? When the participants are coming back, typically they are having, well, similar, but in details different conclusions. They work in different companies. They are facing different challenges. So all those stories might inspire you, even if it's not your current situation. Your colleague from the class may give you some food for thought, right? So this is another example how to embrace learning, how to broaden our knowledge and perspectives. However, as I said, with outcomes, we can expect amazing things, embraced learning, deep learning, because this knowledge applied most likely will stay longer with us. The problem is it requires work. So if someone is not willing to invest their time after the sessions and try to do even something small, well, immersion classes might be challenging because, let's be honest, with such great benefits comes huge responsibility. Responsibility to commit to coming, for instance, every week to the class and paying attention, investing your time in assignments.
So we can say that there are different aspects that can be a great advantage for people attending these classes. I think that one of the greatest is that they can start to be an actual change factor in their environment, in their organization. You can start to change things during the training itself. Asking questions or trying to understand the why there is this status quo is already something that is a first step toward an actual change. So I think that this is a great outcome for the training itself.
Yeah, I agree. So long story short, if you really want to make changes in your company, immersion classes might be an amazing choice. But let us remind you, if you really want to do something, brace yourself for time and effort investments.
Yeah. So it's something that, of course, yes, requires time from people. So if you want to be involved in this kind of training, be prepared to act, not just to listen. So this is important. But I think that this is something that people are looking for. It's not something that people are just suffering, moving and doing things. So I think that this is a good encounter between the offer and what people are actually looking for. Okay, Joanna, I think that we've given some information about immersion training, some experience from directly from the field, from what we experienced in our courses, and as we said at the beginning, if you need more information, just get in touch with us on LinkedIn, on our channels, and you can find more information on the Scrum.org website. And for today's everything is solved.
Thank you very much. We invite you to our pretty new immersion learning experience, and we hope to see you one day, maybe on our immersion classes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
See
you.
you
Bye.
next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.